Star Citizen's most recent event could be described in many ways. A parking lot simulator, an elevator bug simulator, or I guess you could describe it the way they have tagged it, the race for Stanton. Today we're diving into this event, and I'm going to give you some tips on how I've been somewhat successful in navigating this very, very jammed up event. Now, if you like videos like this, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and let's dive on in. And first, let's go ahead and talk about Alpha 4.2.1, the race for Stanton. The idea is the big corps that own the main planets need resources, and you're gonna help deliver these resources one way or another. The pitch for this was there'll be abandoned cargo ships that you could help recover, that PvP areas or PvE first-person shooter areas would have loot in them, that there would be some escort missions to be done, and there would be some base hauling missions that you could partake in to assist your dedicated faction, your favorite corporation, your favorite planet, in securing enough resources in order to help with the ongoing regeneration plot. Right? That was the idea. And of course, people liked the idea of this because, first off, that drip. Come on. The rewards for this looked pretty good. And of course, people were like, black and yellow, Hurston dynamics. Who cares about slavery? Let's go ahead and get me some black and yellow ship skins. And really, how could I resist? Of course, you could also support the other planets in the verse, microTech, Crusader, and of course, ArcCorp, each having a set of prizes that you can claim as you work your way up the levels. We'll go ahead and show what you can get. Basically, there's tier 1 through 5. Tier 1, you get some outerwear and a pyro multi-tool. Tier 2, you get a new medium armor and a pulse pistol. Tier 3 brings you a laser shotgun and skins for the Aurora, the Spirit, and the Zeus. Tier 4 with any faction gets you an energy SMG and a skin for the Raft, the Freelancer, and the Constellation. And finally, Tier 5 brings you a energy assault rifle and skins for the Hercules, Caterpillar, and Starlancer. Now, you can run through this leveling through each of the corporations. You can get up to tier 5 for each of the corporations. It'll probably take you a minute. Right now, as the game stands, the most efficient way to do this is to do the large haul contracting, or the large haul contracts, but you need to get through the first mission for the contract first, and that is the true struggle of this event. And it's what we're going to go ahead and talk through some of the pitfalls and kind of my advice for how to get through the first mission, because once you get the first mission done, then you can kind of start making progress. There's some weird checks and balances that we're going to talk about because, man, CIG, what were you guys thinking? But we'll go ahead and talk through them. So, as I said, there's 4 factions, and in order to get started on your ability to rank up these factions, what you need to do first is complete a intro hauling mission for each of them. You can do this in pretty much any ship. I was first I went out there doing it in my Vulture just because like, you know what, this isn't going to see a lot of use this patch, and also having a tractor beam on standby might be useful. And then I was like, you know what, we could also probably do this in a Drake cutter because it has more than enough room for the 3 SEU you have to accomplish for each of these missions. Now, the issue here is going to be the locations that they send you to do these cargo missions and the elevators. If you've been around for a minute, you know that the elevators at outposts sometimes don't want to cooperate. And well, in CIG's infinite wisdom, they decided to base the majorative and the entry point of this event around those elevators. which means it is a struggle. Even more so, though, there has also come to light a couple of ways that people can deliberately sabotage the elevators. So be on the lookout for those, and I'll talk through at least trying to troubleshoot through one of them. So first off, let's just go ahead and talk about, I'm going to call it overall strategy, grand strategy for this event, because there are a couple of quirks and features. Of course, as we said, as you know, there are 4 corporations giving out jobs, giving out missions, giving out contracts for this event. For some reason, these contracts are instanced off per server. What that means is that each one of the corporations will give out about approximately 10 of these contracts every 15 or so minutes. Obviously, that isn't great when you are sharing your server with 500 of your closest friends, and this is an ongoing limited time event. Obviously, there's going to be high demand to do these missions. So what do you do? Well, in my personal opinion, the best way to increase your odds so that you're not sitting around doing nothing is to attempt to do those entry-level missions first. The reason for that is, well, you want, instead of your batch of possible contracts to be limited to the 10 of one of the corporations, you want the ability to pull from the entire server, from the entire event's worth. That's 40 of them. Is it better to make progress in the event across all of them? Maybe you're someone who doesn't want the camos or things from one of the other factions, and that's understandable. For me, I'm just happy to be doing some hauling and to get some extra rewards, and maybe personal goal, try to get through max rank for each of the corporations. So for me, I want to get the max rank for all the corporations, so it doesn't matter who I'm doing the work for, since I still need to make progress across all of them. And during these early days of the event, while it's still really hot, this may be able to allow me to progress through the event a lot sooner, a lot quicker, because I'm not being loyal to one. I'm more than happy to drive my raft across the verse in order to do a cargo run. Cool, there's that. So now you're gonna be like, but Tommy, I can't get in to any of these events. And I will say, fair shot. Let's go ahead and talk through some of the ways that you might be able to boost your odds of getting things to work. Well, let's go ahead and talk through some things. My first thing we're going to talk about is a known exploit that will break elevators, and something that you need to be ready to deal with / on the lookout for, and that is objects on the top of the elevator building. Turns out that if someone places an object at the top of a building, the elevator will read it as being on the pad and will not let you cycle it. When this happens, you will get a message on the terminal that says, hey, there's something on the pad. And you may look down at the pad and realize, hey, there's nothing there. Go ahead and start checking the roof, and you may be able to dislodge whatever is up there and get the pad rolling again. Now, initially I was like, Tommy's going to use his big brain here. I'm going to bring the Vulture, which has a tractor beam already attached to it, and I will be able to tractor anything off of the roof if someone decides to do this. Turns out, thanks to the armistice, that vehicle tractor will not work. CIG, please figure something out, because this update could also just be a scrapper's heaven for the amount of abandoned ships that are around. But what we ended up doing instead is teaming up with a fellow citizen who was also waiting for that elevator to get working, and we attempted to remove the body. Sadly, body was stuck where it is. At least we tried, and after that, said adieu to that server. Of course, that is one other strategy that I think a lot of people have been implementing to try and find elevators that are working, is of course server hopping, bed logging, yada yada yada. A couple things. One, if you're going to bed log, make sure you're not directly on the pad. Maybe fly out to space, do that. But the other big thing that helped me get through and get a couple of the starter missions through was being smart about the server I was using. Now, by default, of course, I think everyone's programmed to just go, yes, best server is best server. But in this case, best server, which I think best is usually by latency, might not be the actual best server for this event. Instead, what I did was I went down, used the server browser, and clicked in and went to a different region. For me, Asia was working great in the evenings in North America. That, of course, is because of the way the time change goes. It was incredibly early morning there, and the server pops were relatively low, and I was having a lot better success on the Asian server and during North American evening hours. Of course, times may vary. Use your noggin. Of course, look down at the available regions and kind of picture what time of day it is there and if that is a popular time to play games. But for me, that was my ticket to at least getting some of these events done, some of these starter missions done, which then opens up the opportunity to do more of the larger hauling missions. As far as larger hauling missions go, once you get into those larger hauling missions, you will still have to fight with the difficulty of getting anything to work, but you'll be making some progress. The MVP, it feels like, of this event is going to be the Raft, a ship that I love incredibly dearly. The Raft has long been one of my favorite cargo haulers. It recently got that update to 192 SCU. The large cargo events are 180, so you can see kind of how perfect it is. The other, I think, popular ship for this event has been the C2 because, you know, big cargo ship, and the C2 is so big that I don't even think you need to, like, put things on the grid. You can just throw shit into the C2 and it will take and you can run and deliver it. One other thing, let's go ahead and talk about pad etiquette. If you arrive at something with a working elevator and you see another citizen loading things up, why don't you help them load it? Now, one thing to note is, of course, there's the teleportation system that can get a little annoying, and if you lock something onto another ship's cargo grid, you will not be able to unlock it. So be sure doing what you can to be placing things correctly. But I definitely enjoyed rocking up onto a location where there's someone else already loading things in, because you knew that elevator was working in some capacity, helping that player get their ship loaded and then starting the loading yourself. If you do have another player that comes up and assists you while loading, it might be beneficial. It might be nice to pay it forward and kind of help them load back. I will be honest, some man very graciously helped me with loading, and then I proceeded to, on the first crate, help him load, hit him with it, which is not great. In the second crate, I accidentally locked it in the wrong spot, and after that, out of embarrassment, I flew away because, well, it is what it is. But anyways, guys, that is kind of my little quick guide to the Race for Stanton, or at least the early section of Race for Stanton. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Of course, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.